Hello, Beautypreneurs. In this episode, our guest goes over everything about branding, why it's important, and how to get started creating your brand, what branding has done for her clients. And we also even touch on Instagram and different social media platforms. And then finally, we wrap up the show covering what is really the mindset, what's important, her biggest advice on the mindset of entrepreneurs, beauty entrepreneurs, and what they should be focusing on to grow their business. So definitely don't want to miss this episode. Now let's get right to it. Welcome to the Business of Beauty, where we help beauty entrepreneurs in building their business and reaching their dreams. This is your host, David Lee. So today's guest, she is a graphic designer and brand strategist that helps females focus businesses attract their dream clients. She is really proud of starting a business only in 2 years, right? Making $2,000 a month in profit, but while making money, being able to raise a toddler. And I totally personally get it. I have a 4-month-old now, and it's not easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, just trying to type with one hand while I'm holding the baby.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how people do it. One day at a time, right?
Yeah.
Um, so,
Um,
I'm sorry. So her name, I didn't introduce your name yet. Rebecca Farley at Sugar Branded.
mhm.
So welcome, Rebecca. Thank you so much for being on the show. So
Thank you for having
can you
me.
tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, business is basically like my whole life, other than my little boy. He's going to be 2 in March. My whole life kind of revolves around him and my business and growing that and connecting with other, mainly female entrepreneurs, especially people who work in the beauty and wellness industry. I've been kind of interested in business my whole life since I was a kid. For as long as I can remember, I've always loved to kind of develop business ideas and create things to promote businesses, whether it's like an imaginary one when I was a kid to real life ones as an adult. And I studied business at university. And yeah, it's always been a massive passion of mine. And then since becoming a mother, I've realized the importance of having a flexible income and a flexible working schedule, especially as women or just parents in general, because spending time with our kids is such an important time, and their younger years go by so quickly that I think in this day and age, we have so many opportunities to work around that as parents.
Yeah.
It's so important to like grasp it with both hands and try and make the most of the opportunities that we have in front of us. So yeah, that's my passion. That's basically what I do every day. Yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. Now, tell us a little bit more of the type of clients that you help.
Yeah, so like I said, mainly they tend to be female entrepreneurs. I think it's because of my design style. I've got like a very niche, feminine, stylish like design type. So I think I attract mainly women to me. And a lot of them work in the beauty industry, like I said, but I also work with coaches, personal trainers, fashion stylists, salons. So mainly based in like wellness and lifestyle industries.
Yeah.
Mainly like solopreneurs and small businesses as opposed to like big scale corporate organizations. I love to really connect with my clients, and I think working with small businesses or solopreneurs really gives you an opportunity to get that personal relationship and help them grow their business and expand their client base. That's what I'm passionate about, and that's who I tend to kind of attract to my business as clients.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I totally get it. It's like when you're working with a smaller business and you get to work with the owner or the entrepreneur, you're like working at the ground level, and there's so many variables, so many possibilities, and there's so many opportunities to help too. Versus sometimes a large organization, they're like, okay, we have everything in place already. We just need you to do this little bit and just crank that out over and over and over again, right?
You're exactly right. It's kind of like when you work with larger organizations, you become a sort of like task doer. So they need specific jobs done and you end up just doing those things. But when you work with smaller businesses, with my clients, I tend to end up like coaching them in some way through the branding experience. Like I end up listening to their anxieties about growing their business and their worries, and like helping them with random business tasks from my own business experience. And I absolutely love that part of the job as well. So yeah, you're so right. With small businesses, there's so many opportunities to help in different ways.
Yeah. And so one of the things our audience is I'm sure super excited, super curious about is, like, do you have, like examples or things that how you've helped in the beauty industry, like with their business, like by, so let's talk a little bit more on, your background with graphic design and building a brand, right? How has improving the graphic work or the brand of an organization, of a beauty brand, helped change, maybe increase the revenue or increase their exposure, maybe get a post go viral? Like, do you have some experiences that you can share with us?
So one of my favorite experiences so far working with entrepreneurs has been, I don't know what you call it in the States, but over here it's called a permanent makeup artist. Is that kind of like a term that you guys use?
Permanent makeup artist.
So it's meaning.
Is that like a tattoo artist?
Yeah, it's kind of like tattooing, but it's makeup. So like a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
Eyeliner, permanent like eyeliner. So it's kind of like makeup tattoo. But anyway, he's a permanent makeup artist, and it's such a fun story for me to remember, because I think when we start our businesses, we bring so much of ourselves to our brand, but sometimes that's not our strong point. So we might be creating something visually that is just not attracting the clients that we want, and it's not growing our business. So I had a client who was really attached to the visuals of her business, her logo and her social media page. It was so much of her, but it was just not widely appealing to many people at all.
Okay.
She came to me because she'd been getting feedback that her brand was like not quite on point, and she wasn't getting the business that she wanted, even though she'd been working in it for years. She had so much experience doing what she was doing, but she just was not getting the clients in. She eventually decided to come to me to help her redesign her logo and her Instagram page and just her whole brand visuals. She was so nervous to begin with because she had this emotional attachment to everything put together, and she did not want to let it go. So I kind of coached her through the process of changing like her brand, so it was going to appeal to more people and appeal to the clients that she wanted to bring into her business. I had a bit of resistance, but when I kind of put the ideas towards her, she was like, do you know what? Like, you've actually managed to bring my personality, but make it a more widely appealing brand. Like, I'm just going to go with it. And so she implemented it. After a few months, she literally said, Rebecca, like, you have turned my business around. Like, everyone who comes into my like beauty space, they say they love the logo, they love what I've done. And she was just so like relieved that she'd like given the push to just change it. And that really, like, I was so happy for her and so happy that I was able to help her really up her business game finally. That's one of like my favorite client stories. But I also help clients who are just starting their business. So I've got a salon opening at the moment in Plymouth, which is like a city here in the UK. So I've did like the logo for the shop front and everything like that, and that's just opening. So I also help clients who are just about to launch their business. I'm really going with like from a good standard from the get-go, because I think when you start your business, you can be so tight with your budget and you're scared to invest because you don't know if it's going to work.
You want to bootstrap everything, right?
I can't do that. But I think with your brand visuals, like, if you just invest from the beginning and just get it to a good quality from the get-go, it's going to make your life so much easier. From then on, you're going to avoid so many headaches. So that's also something that I have a lot of clients who are just opening and just starting, and I'm helping them just get off on a good foot.
Do you mind if I dive a little deeper in that first client example that you provided? So and other beauty entrepreneurs that are watching this video, they might think, oh well, all I need is a pretty logo and I'm done, right? And throw out some Instagram photos, throw in my logo with it, and I'm done, right? And then all of a sudden, all this crazy business is gonna come my way, right? So let's dig a little deeper. Like, okay, what was that process like? What did you go through? What like did you start off typically? I mean, you start with a discovery, right? So you ask certain questions to understand, but then yeah, can you share a little bit more on that process? And then also, what are some of the deliverables that did make the biggest difference?
Because it's definitely a process, like you said. So it's not all about just creating like a nice little logo that looks nice.
Yeah.
That's not really gonna get you the results. Like, your brand runs throughout your whole business. There's so many touch points that your client's going to experience with your business, and that's all a part of your brand. So the process I go through is, like, with my clients, is starting off with a discovery call, like you said, so I can understand the long-term goals they have for their business. I can understand a bit more about them as a person, because it is important that our business reflects us. If we're like a small team or it's only us, you want to feel passionate and proud, and that you can connect with your brand. So that's really important to understand my client, the sort of person they are, their style, the goals for their business. So I gather all that information together. And then what I do is I put together like an inspiration mood board of like ideas I have for their brand visuals, and I'll present that to the client, and then we go through it together just to make sure we're on the same page. Because although I am managing the product, I'm leading the product, and I'm putting ideas forward, it's always so important to me that my clients are on board as well. Like, I need both sides, and I need my clients to be happy with what I'm presenting to them. So mood board. For this client in particular, that was really important because she was so nervous about changing the brand. So it was important that the mood board I presented to her like made her feel comfortable and made her feel inspired.
So start with a mood board, right? So for those that don't know, or this is the first time hearing what a mood board is, so what exactly is that?
So a mood board is kind of like a collection of images, like inspiration images to do with the brand, where we're going to take the brand. So it can be like lifestyle images, like the sorts of things that your dream client might do in their free time, or the other brands that they might like connect with. It can be textures that you want to include in your visuals, colors, things like that. So I kind of throw together all of these things so that we can get an overall image of where we're taking the brand.
So that's step one. Start with a mood board. I imagine like you did you bring like a stack of magazines and here's a pair of scissors and some glue, and like, here, start cutting out some pictures and start putting on this board to kind of conceptualize that.
But on a computer version.
Okay.
So I don't make an actual mood board, although that's like a fun task that you can do if anyone's watching and they want to just give it a go themselves and like rebranding themselves. That's a really nice task that you can do, is gather some magazines and things and start cutting the pictures, literally stick them on a page, and then you can kind of put that above your desk and look at it as like to guide you into the future. But I basically do that, but on a computer version, like digitally. So I just put them all together. And also not only that, but it's like an important business asset to have, is this visual mood board, because you can then hand that over to other people who you outsource to. Like, say if you outsource a web designer, or you're getting a new team member on board, you always have this thing to go back to that clearly represents your brand vibe that you want everyone who touches like your brand to know about. It's a useful tool for my clients to have anyway, so that's why I kind of like to hand that over to them too.
I love it. Now, okay, so after the mood board, what happens next?
So it depends how big the project is. So generally, like my branding projects, we start with the logo. So I sketch out some ideas. So I'll pick a few fonts that I think reflect the vibe of the brand, because fonts can say so much, which we don't really generally think about, but they all kind of carry their own connotations to which type of font to use. So I'll put together a few fonts, sketch out some logo ideas. And then I like to quite come back to things later. So I might come up with a few sketches and I'll return to it maybe like a few hours later.
Yeah.
And think about, is this matching up with the mood board we came up with? Is this giving me like the vibes that we were wanting to create? If I'm happy with it, then that's when I present it to the client and we kind of go back and forth together to perfect the design to something that we both like.
Yeah. Nice. So now, okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. Now you have the logo, back and forth. There's the approval. The client loves the logo. Then do you go? What's the next step? Do you go straight into Instagram? Do you start doing the social media pieces?
Yeah. So it really depends because I do a few different branding packages. It depends what products we're doing, but I kind of work with social media assets. So like the Instagram highlight covers, making sure they're branded. I can create templates for my clients. They can edit their own brand. But I also do like printed materials, like business cards, price lists and menus and things like that.
Okay.
But they kind of follow the same steps. So with a brand, it's obviously not all about the logo. This is what I try to explain to my clients, that you can have a nice logo, but your logo isn't your brand. It's just a mark of your brand. And the important thing about logo is that it's functional. So once we've moved past the logo stage, that's when we start to introduce like different patterns to your brand, different textures, the different colors and all those elements. And I kind of implement them into either the printed assets like the business card or price list, or I start putting them into the social media assets. So that's when we kind of start to have a lot of fun with the brand. Because I get a lot of clients who come to me and they kind of say I want gold and I want sparkles and I want like a crown and I want marble, I want everything. And if you're not from a branding background, it's so easy to think I need to fit these all into this logo. The logo needs to be everything. But
I just picture like going into like let's say you're trying to decorate a house or a room, right? Like let's say your bedroom. It's like, oh yeah, I want a bed here, I want a couch here, I want two TVs, not one TV. And next thing you know, you're like, I don't even have space to walk.
Right? It's not functional.
So it's like the branding, there has to be a balance, that there has to be a certain style, and sometimes you only can have one TV. You can only you can't even have a couch. Let's say we can't have a couch here, we already have a bed, right? You got to keep it clean so the space is inviting, right?
It needs to be working at like an optimal level. And I think as the brand strategist, that's my job, to make sure that the brand is managed well, and that we achieve what we really want to achieve. But when we start working with the social media templates, that's when we can introduce the different elements of the brand. But when we're talking about a brand, we're not even just talking about the visuals. Like your brand is made up of like your tone of voice, the content that you use, all of these things. So there's so many opportunities in your brand to get your like vibe across.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's kind of go back to the I guess your story on helping that first client and really turn their business around. So you've helped her with the logo. You've created some. So what were some of the social media platforms that you used to help her out? Instagram being one. Did you use Facebook? Did you use Pinterest? Like, what are some of the platforms that you use?
So I don't actually do like any marketing or promotions.
Okay.
I just do the design work and the strategy behind like visuals. So with this client, she was mainly Instagram based.
Yeah.
So I helped her kind of put together a handful of templates and posts to kind of start her brand theme. And then she can kind of like, that gives you like a good basis to what you want your Instagram feed to look like, and she kind of works from there.
Okay, and then she's able to kind of modify it from there and make her own post, right?
And she can modify the templates herself, so it's super easy.
Did she say any particular post was the most effective for her?
No, do you know what? I didn't really. She actually worked with a Instagram coach.
Oh, okay.
With her
Interesting.
Instagram marketing. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
do team up with social media coaches, because that's not something, like I don't manage social media pages.
Yeah.
I do team up with like social media coaches, because I think that once you've got the visuals in place, you're going to automatically start attracting more of an audience, because they're going to see your brand as more trustworthy, because your brand's in place. They're going to see you as more professional.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot more to social media than just getting visuals in place. But that's like a really good starting point. So
Yeah.
So yeah, not particularly with this client, no.
Okay.
But I will say that the Instagram algorithm really likes animated posts. So you can create like short videos.
Okay.
And I do those for my clients as well, because I think it creates a lot of interest on your page. And the longer people stay on your page, the more Instagram is going to show your page, basically, because it makes you think that you have really interesting content, because it says, hey, people are spending a lot of time on this page.
Yeah.
So especially when my clients are launching their new businesses, I like to throw in an animated post for them to promote their launch, and just get a big interest on their page. Like, it's just a fun thing to have as part of your brand.
Yeah. Do you like, what is your goal on Instagram for your clients? Is it to just, okay, well, let's increase as many followers as possible, or trying to get people to comment on certain posts, or more so people to make a phone call, call the business? Like, what would be your goal for your clients on Instagram?
So when it comes to Instagram, like, obviously it's nice to have a lot of followers, but what's more important is that those followers are buying from you, or that you have a high conversion rate from the followers that you do have. So it's better to have 100 followers who really engage with you and trust your brand and buy from you, rather than having 1,000 followers who just don't care
They don't say anything.
Yeah. So my goal as a brand strategist and a designer is to make sure that the visuals that you're presenting to your potential audience are getting them hooked, and making them feel comfortable connecting with your brand and sharing your content, or like recommending your page to people. Because when your page looks nice and is on brand, people just are going to follow you. People are going to connect with you. People are going to share your content because it looks nice.
Yeah.
And if your visuals are all aligned and look visually appealing, it looks like you've got things together. Like, it looks like you know what you're doing, you're experienced, and it's kind of an opportunity to really appeal to a specific person, because we don't want to be everything to everybody, because they're nothing to nobody. So this is a really good opportunity to be putting out content and visuals that are going to really attract a certain type of person to you. That's the power of Instagram, is that there is everyone's on Instagram. Every type of person that you wish to attract, you have the ability to attract them. So it's important that the visuals you have are really speaking to them. So that's my goal, is to make sure that you have visuals that are speaking to the person that you want to be buying your products, basically.
Okay. Now, and I guess, do you have any advice for the beauty entrepreneurs that are watching the show right now? Like, they're thinking about starting their business, or maybe they already have it running, and they're not getting any followers, or they're not getting many engagements. Do you have any advice, tips, tricks to kind of build up that audience for them?
I have so many, just from experience. Like I said, I'm not like a Instagram like growth coach. I don't like claim to be an expert in that way at all. It's actually something that I personally really struggle with, is like Instagram growth, in that it's not something I naturally enjoy doing. So it's like always been a chore for me.
I guess let me then rephrase my question then. How about overall, like, branding? So let's just say the business, or it hasn't been started yet, and they're trying to figure out, okay, I'm watching the show and it makes sense. I need a brand. And we talked about building, creating a mood board. That's step one. What other advice or suggestions would you say the someone that's thinking about starting their business and they don't have a brand, right? They might have a name, right? What would you recommend?
So I guess if you're looking to kind of make an immediate start on growing a brand and making it look better, the first thing that you can do is to look at other people who are doing what you want to do and are good at what they do, like the leaders, and observe what they're doing on their page. Like, think about the types of content they're putting out there, like what sort of pictures are they using, what sort of like tones are they using in their pictures, and write down like what they're doing, like what makes their page look nice to you. And then experiment. So there are so many good like image editing apps that you can get. You can just play around with what you think looks good and see if you can match kind of like the people that you aspire to be. Just try it out for a little bit and see if you get more right and if you're happy with the results of playing around with that.
Now, I mean, I guess from what you're saying, a listener might say, oh, okay, so all I have to do is look at what people that I look up to or companies that I want to be like, and then completely copy what they do. No, right? Don't do that, right?
Because at the end of the day, like, there's so many levels to a business and to a person and to a business. You can't possibly imitate what someone's doing, and the problem is when you try to copy what someone's doing, it's not sustainable because you're always going to be a step behind them, for one, and two, you're wasting energy trying to copy them because you have to try and copy them and then actually do what they're doing. What you want to be doing is getting inspiration and aligning that with yourself. Think about what you enjoy, like what colors do you like, what colors connect with you, and then go from there. The other thing I would say is to obviously keep it to only a handful of colors. What you could do is create like a color scheme for your brand. This is something you can do yourself if you're interested in doing it. You want to pick a few colors. So you want like a light color, a dark color that's not black but that's like off black, and then like a secondary accent color. And with those three colors, you're only going to use those three throughout your Instagram feed. So if you're posting quote pictures, keep to the same one each time. You want your whole feed to be harmonious because people go to Instagram pages for one purpose mainly. They love things that are repetitive rather than all over the place. So you want to create a harmonious feed of only a handful of colors and color tones.
Oh, interesting. So don't have like crazy rainbow, colors. Just have more consistency. It's like picking up a paint color on your wall, right? Or for your house. Like, don't have colors all over the place. Make sure it matches throughout the whole house.
Yeah, right? That's one of the easiest things you can do to start straight away in improving your brand, especially on Instagram.
Okay. Now, at what point should they hire a professional?
So I always think with your brand, it's kind of like you should always buy the best that you can afford. Now, not everyone can afford to hire someone to help them with things, and there are a lot of free tools online that allow you to do some sort of like Canva. Most people have probably heard of Canva.
Canva,
online site where you can easily make like social media posts or quick things like that.
And we'll put that resource down below. For those watching.
I'm such an advocate of just starting. So if you have no money to start a business, just start. Like, use what you have. Just start. Having said that, free software and doing things yourself is never going to replace someone's experience in the branding industry or using industry standard software. Like, for example, pretty much all professional designers use Adobe products, which costs it costs like £40 a month in the UK, which I think is like $60 a month. So and you cannot get that standard of design capability in free software. So I'll kind of give you a real life example. So you can on Canva design like a simple text logo,
Mm-hmm.
So that logo is never going to be high resolution. So in
Yeah.
the industry, sometimes we like to create like big pop-up banners when we go to like shows and things,
Yeah.
or you might want to like put like a window decal like on your salon. You're not going to be able
Yeah.
to do that with free software. Like, so that's why it's so
There's definitely
important to
restrictions.
invest in a professional, because
Yeah.
long term, that their design work is going to grow with your business, and you're going to see the financial returns from doing that.
Yeah. The way
Yeah.
I see it too, so to jump in, it's like everyone has one of these, right? It's like it's a smartphone. So that means does that mean everyone's a professional photographer? I don't think so, right? So a professional by definition is, you know, someone that gets paid to do the work. This is what they do usually for a living. And even if it's the tools the same. So for the viewers out there, sure, if they can afford 40 pounds and start buying the Adobe suite on a monthly basis, that doesn't mean they're going to be a professional, you know, designer, right? It's like buying all the tools out there, spending all that money, that still doesn't mean they're going to be a professional at that. And plus, think about the core focus of your business, not so much your focus of your business isn't branding like Rebecca here, right? Your focus of your business is the product or service that you're offering to your audience, right? So
that's exactly the second point I normally tell people, is that it's not just about your financial budget, it's about your time budget as well. Because like you said, you might decide, I don't mind spending like $60 like investing in Adobe so I can get that standard, but the amount of time you're going to spend trying to figure out how to do something, and then you might spend weeks trying to figure out how to build a website, for example. You might think, I'll just do it myself on Squarespace, it'll be really easy. And you spend weeks trying to figure out how to do it, and you don't even end up with the standard of site that you wanted in the end anyway, so you wasted all that time. And time is money at the end of the day. So that's, if you have all the time in the world, great, but most of us don't, because we're busy making money doing what we love doing. So that's another thing to think of, as time budget versus financial budget too. So I would say, so long as you have money to invest in your business, which is really important to invest in your business in so many ways. If you have the money there, hire a professional, because it's going to save you so much time and headache in the long run.
So I like to look at things as percentages. So let's just say, all right, beauty entrepreneurs thinking about starting a business, they have their funds, be it 10,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds, whatever that is, right? That maybe 100 pounds, who knows, right? What percentage would you say should be allocated towards branding or marketing in general? Branding is a subset of marketing. What would you recommend?
I mean, that's a difficult question. Do you know what? No one's asked me that before. It's interesting, but I think it really depends on what sort of business you have. So there's some like beauty entrepreneurs who might do like lashes out of their living room, and they mainly advertise on Facebook or Instagram. So all of your branding touch points are going to be online. As opposed to like a salon who have a lot of physical touch points, like you have the actual like prices that people are touching, and the business cards people have in their hands. You have the big logo on like your shop front. So I would say if you're online, maybe like 20% of your funds should be dedicated to branding. If you're a physical location, it needs to be a lot more than that, because there's so many different touch points that you need to be nailing. It's hard to put a percentage on it, because like I said, and then it depends how much your budget is. So
and also this is the very beginning too, because there's a lot of initial costs if you're setting up a salon, right? Like the storefront, but once you purchase it and you don't decide to rebrand all over again, right? You're not going to have to reinvest in that, right? So I'm just trying to give a good idea of our viewers, because sometimes it's like they may get it. They're like, okay, I totally get it. I should work on my branding. I should hire a professional. but I am terrified of how much I'm going to need to spend, how much I'm going to need to invest in. And one of the things that I suggest is step one, baby steps, right?
Mhm.
Do a little more research. Do you know what branding is? Do you know what makes a good logo? What your
Mhm.
who your target market is?
Mhm.
Start with that, then start talking to the professionals
Mhm.
and find the professional that really resonates with you, not just a random person, like, oh wow, you can create a cool logo,
Yeah.
you're hired, right? Don't do that.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because a lot of my clients, they don't, until they've come across my page
Yeah.
and me as a designer, they don't realize that there's different styles of designers and that you can find a designer who's going to align with the style you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to go because it really takes away a lot of the risk that you're going to end up saying that you're not happy with,
Yeah.
because that designer gets you 100%. And I think it's
Yep.
good to connect on a personal level because it's such a creative thing and such a personal thing.
Yeah.
It's important to be able to connect on a personal level with the designer that you pick. So that's definitely something I would agree with, is just to look around and get a feel of people, which is really easy to do nowadays since everyone's on Instagram. Most people, you can really get a sense of what sort of person they are and what sort of work they do and how they work.
This is good.
The other thing I was going to say, coming back to this is what I was saying earlier, is that I just love to get into the business side of things as well, and that's why I love working with my clients, because I feel like I can help them with a lot of strategy as well as the design.
Yeah.
But in my experience of business, and when in coming back to investments and financials, is that you should always be looking to invest financially in your business as much as you can. So if you're trying to grow your business, each month that you grow, you should be reinvesting a good portion of your profits back into your business. So say, for example, like the first month you made $1,000, the next month you made $1,500. I would probably suggest that you should be reinvesting like 300 of that 500 increase.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that way you're always growing continuously. Obviously research what you're investing in, but always be reinvesting. Don't be thinking like you're going to grow and not have to invest, because that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's really scary at the beginning, because I remember when I first started, I was scared to invest. I didn't want to get a coach or invest in new software. I didn't want to, because I felt like I want to make more money, so why am I spending?
Yeah, why would I want to give away my money, right? But it's actually in reverse. I realized the more education I received, I spent, tens of thousands of dollars on not just, hiring professionals, but also like special educational programs. But the return on investment has been double, triple, quadruple that, because now it's like if you can avoid the mistakes or save some time and money, right? Those are the two big factors, getting to the results that you want.
That's the thing. It comes back to time budget versus financial budget. And this is kind of off topic, not really, but I'm looking at the moment to hire a Pinterest coach for Pinterest for business. I'm looking to pay someone for their time to go through it with me, because there is so much amazing free information online about social media marketing, and everything you need is online for free. But it takes so much time to sit there and go through it and focus, and then you're looking at this website, you're looking at that website. I'm just going to invest in a coach to help me do it, to save me the time that's going to cost me money in the long run. So my point is that investing wisely in your business is just you're going to see so much return on investment. It's about the mindset as well. Investing in your business makes you feel like it's going to come back to you, especially if you work with a coach or something like that. Investing in someone else's business is going to make you realize that you have value too, because you're putting value on what someone else has to offer. And if you're doing that, someone else is going to do that for you as well.
That's a pretty good perspective. I never really thought about that. That makes total sense. And the way I see it is like your business is like your baby. And for those that have kids, right, like you're not going to say, all right, I'm going to feed my baby. And then next month I'm going to take all the food away and say, okay, well, you're not going to eat anymore. You're going to starve and I'm going to eat, right? No, that doesn't happen, right? Why would you do the same for your own business? Especially when your business, 1 year is like an infant. Right? It's like the first year is the biggest struggle. And I'm not sure what the stats are in the UK, but in the US, it's 9 out of 10 businesses fail.
Yeah, in
right?
the first year.
And of that 1, or 10% that's left, after 5 years, 90% of that last 10% will fail. So it's like these numbers, I mean, you don't want to be a statistic. So how do you increase your odds? Well, through education, through, getting yourself out there and really investing time into it. So yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for all the wonderful advice that you've given, from your story to your experience working with your clients and what's been working in your process, right? I already said that you can. And also some valuable tips that you provided to our viewers. Now, do you have any like final like recommendations? Like, I recommend maybe there's certain book that they should read, or certain information they should look up that has really helped you in your experience, or not just for you but for your clients too. Any last bit of advice?
So my last bit of business advice, to be honest, would be the investment. And I would say try and invest in a coach.
Got it.
I think that people can be cynical about coaches.
Yeah.
But I think having someone to hold you accountable for what you're doing in your business, and to listen to your struggles and things like that is invaluable, and it's going to help you so much in your growth.
So I'm going to dig deeper in this then, okay? If you don't mind. So coaches, there's a coach for almost anything you can think of, right? Now, first step, I'm guessing, is to find the right coach, right? I'm not going to find a basketball coach when I need someone to coach me in my business, right? And even in my business, let's say the coach has expertise in, I don't know, a restaurant business, but my business is different, right? So how do you find that coach?
So I think what I would maybe do is write a list of your top 3 struggles that you have in your business. So whether that's something specific, like I don't know how to grow my Instagram, or if it's like general, like I don't have the motivation every morning to put work into my business. Write down the top 3 things that you struggle with. Keep those in your mind, and then start doing a bit of networking. So maybe ask like people who also are in business if they've worked with any coaches before. Can they recommend anyone? Take a look through just like scroll through Instagram and see, like, you can follow hashtags of business coaches, follow their page for a bit.
Like a detective.
Connect with people. I find like the people who are most helpful to our lives, we kind of get a connection with them before we start working with them. So just have like an honest chat, like approach someone and say, I'm really struggling with this. Do you think you can help me with that? And if you feel comfortable with their reply and you feel like you can connect with them, that might be a good coach for you. The other thing I would mention when working with coaches, is just from my personal experience, is coaches do bring a lot of value, but don't feel like you need to pay over the odds for a coaching course or a coaching session, because I feel like the biggest benefit of coaching is just having that time to sit down, like an hour, just to sit down and just talk about your business and your goals and your struggles. And you can get that just from anyone. Like, you don't need to pay like $3,000 for a coaching course. I mean, if you have the money there, great, but don't feel like you need to pay that much money to get the value, because the real value is from having that time dedicated to your business to get bounce ideas off someone who you connect with and who has experience. So maybe don't even discount someone who's not an actual coach. Like, if someone's doing what you want to do and they're a year ahead of where you are, they will have valuable information to give you. That's it. So yeah, don't even discount people who don't claim to be coaches. If they have experience that you doing what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
they have something they can teach you.
Okay. So let me kind of sum it up then. Kind of think outside the box. Don't, it doesn't necessarily have to be a traditional route of, okay, they're advertising as, oh, I'm a coach, or they're at a university, or they're a teacher, right? It doesn't have to be the traditional path. If you find someone in your field, in your industry, they're ahead of you, or even at where you're at, but they're really growing really quickly and they're really successful. Go ahead and reach out to them. And here's one of the things I would do. If they were local, I would try to reach out to them and say, hey, you want to grab a beer? You want to, there's a lot of pubs in the UK, right? So let's hit up a pub, right?
Exactly.
And pick their brain and pay for the lunch, right? Pay for the dinner. And that would be a ton of value. And you never know where that path will take you.
Yeah, that is exactly what's in my mind. I was thinking you could even just ask someone if they don't mind you taking them for lunch. Like, it's nice to show that you value their time, because I think most people are more than willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
But when it crosses the line, when you're asking a ton of questions and not realizing that their time is valuable.
Yeah.
So it's important that if you're asking for someone's help, that you show that you value their time, either by taking them out for lunch, or even just saying, do you mind if I pay for an hour of your time? Like, just for you to sit down and tell me what your experience is like. And most people would be more than happy to help. I think sometimes people are scared to ask for help from people who are doing what they're doing. So they don't want them to feel like they're gonna copy them or
Yeah. Well, the good thing is I feel like times are changing. I mean, thanks to the internet. If someone really wanted to learn something, they can Google it. They can find out how to do it. With enough time, any person can figure it out. But the reality is we're limited in time, and there's so many people out there that are willing to help. I would argue, especially in this particular community, our beauty industry, beauty community, people are amazing. I love this community.
So close-knit.
Yeah, everyone's super helpful.
Be a part of it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and when you're part of that community and you have others that are willing to share and help out, and there's no catch. Like we don't make any money. We don't do it. We're just here to give value, right? And when that happens, good things come back too. So yeah, I totally get it. And again, thank you again so much. Now, how can our audience reach you? How can our viewers reach you?
So I am on Instagram, which is @sugarbranded. Or you can always drop me an email as well, which is rebecca@sugarbranded.com. So either or, drop me a message on Instagram or email me. I'm always happy to ask any questions. If anyone is interested in getting into what I do, I'm happy to help, like we just spoke about. I would love to hear from you, or even just hear about your experience in business, and we can connect from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And all the information, if you didn't get a chance to write it all down, it'll be down in the show notes. So you can click on the link and get right to Rebecca's profile or email her. Yeah. So again, Rebecca, thank you so much for your time. And for everyone, we'll see you around. Take care. Bye.